So this channel and my website, Zeteticism.com, has constructed a flat earth model called the Zetetic Gyroscope. Involves the idea that the earth is like a dinner plate stuck inside of a spinning basketball. And if that's the nature of reality, we can explain anything from star trails to gravitation to sunsets to the apparent lowering of objects on the horizon, the way that ocean currents behave, and a number of other things can exist in a flat earth scenario. But anyway, I don't want to discuss all that in this video. This video is about one specific issue, that the Zetetic Gyroscope model involves the idea that the earth is moving when the Bible, I'm told, says that the earth is specifically not moving at all, absolutely still. The goal of this video will be to do a brief amateur analysis of some Bible verses to see if this is apparently what the Bible says. We want to find out if the Bible is in conflict with the Zetetic Gyroscope model, or if it's in agreement with the model, if possible, with respect to this one issue of is the earth, or if these verses agree with the Zetetic Gyroscope model. Again, if you're not familiar with the Zetetic Gyroscope model, just go watch Volume 1, but it's as I briefly described a minute ago. What are we told by the Bible? I have people emailing me saying, no, the earth is not moving. It's unmoving. And the Bible says so, therefore the model is in disagreement with the Bible, therefore the model is wrong. Now, if that line of reasoning is correct, I completely agree and renounce the model. Okay, but I don't think that upon looking at the Bible further and thinking about the concept of motion in more detail, it's my opinion in this video, and I'll explain why in a minute, that line of reasoning just given is not correct for two reasons. One, the concept of stillness, something being perfectly still, I don't know if that issue makes any kind of logical sense. For example, if you're on the earth plane, whatever, say in the United States somewhere, looking up at the stars and they're moving past you, and the sun is moving past you, and so forth, how can you say that you're absolutely unmoving? Because as a star moves from position A to position B with respect to you, you've changed your orientation with respect to one another. Motion has happened. Okay, now, how do we say that the star is still and the earth has moved, or the earth is still and the star has moved? These are tricky issues. Because if things change their distance and their arrangement orientation with respect to one another, those things are in motion. So it's very difficult to come up with the concept, if any motion exists at all in reality, of any objects, it's very difficult to say that there's a specific object that's absolutely still, because everything's moving with respect to everything else. If you're on that star, it's going to look like, it could feel like you're still and the earth plane is moving. If you have the earth maintaining its same location while the star changes its location, then perhaps you can say the earth is unmoving and the star is moving. The problem with that is it's a pure philosophical discussion. It's completely non-zetetic, non-empirical, that is. Namely, because what is a location? A location has to be a thing about star and earth in this model. It has to be a thing that does something to the earth, does something to the star, makes them a certain way, that is, in order to have them be defined as, unmoving and moving. But we don't know. What's the location? If you know what a location is, point to it. And you'll say, okay, I'm pointing there to the earth. There's its location. I'll say, no, you're not. You're pointing at the earth. Show me the location, not a thing that we know is a location. It's always an object we see. We never see a location. Location is just an add-on idea a human has in mapping out objects that are in their arrayed orientation in the perspective and field of view of the world in one's mind screen at any given moment. The description of location I just gave, I think, is the Platonistic view in professional philosophy. There's another view, Leibniz, the co-inventor of calculus with Descartes, is the one who invented this philosophy. It's called relationism. And that's simply the idea. We don't have any empirical evidence that this thing called a location exists and makes things certain way. So if you have an apple on that you're holding in your hand in space is in one location, move it over an inch, and now it's a different thing now because it has this different location. The relationist would say, no, it's just the same apple. It's just at a different orientation to the observer. So the observer makes up this idea that it has a different location. But in fact, all that's happened is there's a rearrangement of the atoms of reality to create the apple to be at a different place. And so there's a different relationship between observer and apple. That's why it's called relationism. Everything's described by relations with respect to one another. Of course, nobody sees these relations. These are just also added by the mind. All the mind sees is physical surfaces and colors of objects in reality. We don't even see the atoms that are discussed by physicists that supposedly make everything. So anyway, I guess we could go on with this, but I don't want to. I want to get to the Bible verses. The point here is to show that if you're going to try to describe one thing as being in the same location, in maintaining the same location like the Earth does to be still, and you want to say a star in the sky moving across, your view is moving because it's changing its location. Well, it's very hard to describe that. It's hard to describe with the Platonistic view. If you want to use the relationist view, that doesn't work then. The Earth is moving, because if you have star and Earth changing their orientation with respect to one another, their spatial orientation, they have different, the different orientation is what the relationists call different location with respect to one another, because something gets its locationism, its locational property, by its relationship in space to other objects. So if the star moves and the Earth moves, according to relationism, according to that model, there's not this grid, this Cartesian plane things are sitting on to give them locations, 1, 2, 3, or whatever the locations are. No, instead, the relation changes between Earth and star, and that's movement. So according to relationism, the Earth can be described as moving, according to the star moving across the sky idea. Because you don't have a way to verify that the Earth kept its exact same location. It doesn't really have a location except what it's related to by the other objects around it, such as a star or you, an observer standing on the surface of the plane. That's kind of a philosophical issue, and that's not the point of this video. It's something to definitely bring up, I guess, but I don't think it's the main point here. I think the main point is let's see what the Bible verses say. Let's look at this first verse here. Chronicles 16:30. He has fixed the earth firm, immovable. Now, to my understanding, that does not say still. That says immovable. It's fixed firm. It sounds like it's fastened to something. Fixed, the earth fixed firm. I don't know. It's hard to say exactly, but it sounds to me more like it's fastened and won't move. Not that it's absolutely still and has absolute stillness. Even if it did say still, or even absolutely still, doesn't that have to be defined? What do you mean by still? Do you mean still with respect to every other thing in existence? Because that would lead to like a solid block reality where nothing is moving at all. Or does absolute stillness mean something else? Do you mean absolute stillness with respect to the foundation? To me, it sounds like the foundation, because let's keep going through these verses. Let's look at the next verse, Psalm 93:1. Thou hast fixed the earth immovable and firm. Kind of the same concept. Okay, so the word immovable, what does that mean? Does that mean eternally still? Does not possess the trait of motion, period? How do we know that word immovable means that versus the following? Immovable in that it is fixed to its foundations. Because go down to the fourth verse, Psalm 104:5. Thou didst fix the earth on its foundations so that it can never be shaken. Okay, that's what I think the Bible's saying. I think the Bible is saying the earth is fixed in its foundations, and it's fixed to its whatever it's fixed to, according to my model, the inside of the Zetetic gyroscope sphere that is spinning around, and that's why stars move across the sky once a day, and that's why we have star trails. That's the two axis points of the spinning gyroscope. Anyway, I described that all in my other video, Zeteticism Volume 1, the Zetetic gyroscope model. So anyways, look at the third verse there. He has fixed the earth firm and movable. I can see why that might look like, but then again, I don't see why that means the earth possesses absolute stillness. I think it means what Psalm 104:5 says. It's still on its foundations. Fixed and won't move, be shaken from its foundations. Look at Isaiah 45:18. Who hath made the earth and fashioned it and fixed it fast? It doesn't say anywhere in there the earth possesses absolute stillness and doesn't move ever. It says it doesn't move on its foundations. But what if what the foundations is on moves, such as the inside of a spinning sphere? So you see my point? This is why I've been saying that the Zetetic gyroscope seems to not only be not in disagreement with the Bible, but in stark agreement. It focuses on a key point, that the Bible might be saying the earth is fixed, but not necessarily unmoving. So the Zetetic gyroscope fits right into that little narrow range of how things can be with respect to what the Bible says. Seems to fit really well. Now here's some more verses. It seems every verse that I look up kind of has the same theme. I could be missing some. I could be totally wrong in this video. If I am, somebody please point it out. Anyway, Job 38:4-6. Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Again, we're concerned with the foundations. Every verse seems, that seems to be the preoccupation. Anyway, continuing with that verse, whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened? Again, same topic. We're concerned with the fastening of the foundations. Who laid the cornerstone thereof? So, same thing. The preoccupation is not absolute stillness. The earth cannot be in motion. Instead, the preoccupation is the foundations. All right, next verse, 1 Samuel 2:8. For the pillars are the Lord's, and he set the world upon them. Again, same story, concerned with foundations, not motion. Foundations are unmoving. Doesn't say the earth is unmoving. Next verse, Psalm 75:3. It is I who have firmly set its pillars. Alrighty. Peace.